When I was asked to tell a story about being a peace builder, all kinds of experiences went through my head from my work with MCC and Mennonite Church USA, work like in anti racism, immigration, and indigenous issues, and even trips to areas of conflict like the Middle East and Central America. But there's one story that stands out in my mind above all others because it was so close to home. It put me in a situation along with two other friends in confronting violence and having to find a way to stop it. One evening, Ellie Soto and Michelle Armster and I went out for a late dinner to celebrate my birthday. And we went to Applebee's and we had a great time. And as we left and walked towards the car, we could see across the way a young woman on the ground being kicked by a man. We were horrified. And as we were reaching for our phones to call for help, we realized that none of us had brought our phones with us. So we immediately ran back to Applebee's to ask for help, but they were already closed and they wouldn't even let us in as we knocked on the doors. We yelled at the man and we were flashing the lights of the car, thinking maybe that would at least stop him. But it didn't. He continued kicking this young woman in the ground. So we got in the car and we headed toward the man and young woman. And just as we approached with the car, the man stopped long enough so that the young woman could get away and she ran to the hotel lobby. But he went and pursued her. But we were lucky and we got there before he did. We found out that the lobby was locked and couldn't get in. So we asked the young woman to hurry up and get in the car with us. And so she got in the car and she was terrified. We also soon realized that this man was following us and he tried several times to push us across the opposite lane to ongoing traffic. He also at one point flashed a gun at us and my heart was pounding. While I was trying to help Michelle navigate because she was driving, Ellie was in the back seat talking to this young woman and finding out that she was only 16 years old and that this older man was her boyfriend. And when she told him she was pregnant, he started to beat her up there in the parking lot. I knew we did the right thing, but now I feared what's going to happen to us because this man was relentless and was determined to stop us. All of a sudden, I remember the state police was just up about a mile, and if we could just make it there, we could maybe be safe. When we finally made it to the station, the man that was pursuing us had turned onto another street when he saw where we were headed. We were not sure if he was waiting for us or not. When the state trooper realized that we were all women of color, we could tell that his concern for us and our safety was not important. Because instead, he decided to blame us and to lecture us on how about not getting involved in things like that. I went back inside the station after Ellie had tried first to ask for an escort to our home. We were within 3 miles and found out that this young woman also lived in our neighborhood. Finally, the state trooper agreed to follow us home. When we got in our car and we saw his car to the side, we left as instructed, but only to find out he had no intention of following us home. Fortunately, the man chasing us was nowhere around, as we could tell. As Allie was counseling this young woman and giving her a hotline to get help, we headed home. We all got home safely, and this young woman was not ready to charge her boyfriend with the violence. You know, it takes 7 attempts to finally leave an abusive relationship, according to the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Our Anabaptist teaching on violence and being there for the most vulnerable is not easy, and it sometimes requires us to act in ways that other people will see as foolish and dangerous. That night, I would not have wanted to be with anybody else, but 2 of my friends, my Anabaptist friends, that deeply believe in nonviolence and caring for the vulnerable. You know, being a peacemaker sometimes means that you need to fill the gap to stop the violence, so that somewhere along the line, there can be healing and restoration that only God can bring. My prayer for you is that you take to heart our Anabaptist beliefs of what it means to bring peace to a world that desperately needs an alternative to violence. We have a gift. Let's courageously share it with the world. Thank you.